And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 25th of May, 2025. It's Mission Stitchpossible this week. And yeah, honestly, with the amount both films made, respectively, you can call this Mission Stitchpossible. While Mission Impossible didn't make enough to be, comparable to Oppenheimer, Lilo and Stitch made enough to be comparable to Barbie, and Mission Impossible did fairly well, so yeah. I think you can say this is the next Barbenheimer. This is Mission Stitchpossible. Lilo and Stitch made $145.5 million in its opening weekend. Memorial Day weekend, admittedly. So, no, as far as I can tell, this is just a 3-day weekend. Memorial Day, I believe, is tomorrow, so that's not included in there. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, has a franchise time opening weekend of $63 million. The only one to come close enough, I believe, was Fallout at 61, but it is an all-time opening weekend. Final Destination Bloodlines, another opening weekend record holder, dropped 61.9%, but made $19.6 million for the number 3 spot. Thunderbolts continues to actually have good drop-offs, $9.1 million, and Sinners rounds out the top 5 with $8.7 million. So, Lilo and Stitch made remake art the money ours. So made 104. Oh, and now they're factoring in the I'm guessing they're factoring in the Monday estimates. They are factoring that into for the worldwide total. So 145 for the opening weekend, 183 is the prediction for tomorrow. This film literally made all of its money back in opening weekend. It's made on a very conservative $100 million opening weekend budget. Studios, including Disney, take note of your own. Take note, Disney. You did this. This is what you get when you actually use a conservative marketing, conservative budget for big tentpole films. For adventure films and Avatar films, that's where you can throw the big money at. But you can learn to kind of pull it back a little bit, and this is what you get when you do it. Because Lilo and Stitch did not have a huge marketing budget. At best, at worst, it had a $100 million marketing budget. Not even sure that's true. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it did have $100 million in marketing. Studio takes roughly a third. This film made all of its money back opening weekend. If this film ended here, right now, this were like the long-term amount it made for its entire run, this still would have been a profitable movie. So the fact that it did this in just one weekend shows you that A, this is a beloved franchise. People have grown up showing their kids Lilo and Stitch. B, there's also the people who they themselves went to see it. C, it actually tells you about the quality of the film, because Rotten Tomatoes wise, it's about at 69, which is fine. It's a good number. Honestly, 69 is not a bad number at all. 69, dude, but no, it's not a bad number. But the fact is, you have a holiday weekend, summer. We're basically in summer now, which is prime theater going for families, kids. It's a family-friendly film. It is straight up family-friendly. And we saw it in Minecraft, which is not as good a film as this. This is a much better film than Minecraft, which I didn't hate Minecraft either. I put Minecraft in the middle of the road. There was actually a lot of fun to have with it, but it's just not. There's just a lot of in there as well. And that still went on to make $940 million to date. Still got a little bit left in the tank. So this tells us what you can do with a movie that is solid quality, beloved in terms of its IP, and you have it in the prime movie-going time period. This film is going to make bank. Minecraft came close, but it was not a $1 billion film. Hold on one second. This very well might be the first $1 billion film of the year. Nizatu, not an actual movie making $1 billion. I think everyone agrees, or a lot of people agree, that it's a load of bullshit on that one. But not only is Lilo and Stitch did it have a big weekend, a great weekend, a fantastic, almost record-shattering weekend, but it also has a really good run coming up, because we got Karate Kid Legends and Bring Her Back next week. Neither of those are touching Lilo and Stitch. Then the following week, we got Ballerina, The Venetian Scheme, and Dangerous Animals. Once again, None of those are touching Lilo and Stitch. So what about the third week, which would be the 13th, if I'm not mistaken? Okay, the third week is going to be where it stops dead. Because then you got the How You Train Your Dragon remake, which from everything I've heard from the people who have seen it when CinemaCon aired it, it's damn good. And I got the most recent trailer for it as well, attached to Lilo and Stitch, so that I'm looking forward to it. But it's got 3 weeks. 3 whole damn weeks to itself. Oh, it's going to be making all the money. And even when How to Train Your Dragon comes out, it's still going to be making money after that. It's just now you have another very similar type of IP that families can go to take their kids to. So, look, I'm not going to lie. This film could very realistically take less than a 50% drop this coming weekend. It has no strong competition. It's already got good word of mouth going around with it. Not amazing, but really good word of mouth. There's no other kids flicks out right now, so that's another big thing. Lilo and Stitch is going to clean house. The house is going to make a lot of money off of this film. A lot of money off of this film. Like, no joke. No joke. Next week, I'm not going to be surprised if it's over $600 million next week. You might think that's a lot, and that would be a lot, because that's $259 million it would have to make up. But A, I think that day-to-day it's going to be tens of millions. Then you got to factor in, A, that's probably taking a low drop domestically next week. And then B, we got to also factor in the international, because Lilo and Stitch is beloved internationally, like beloved. It is huge in like China and Japan. So, if assuming they got this film, which is possible, they didn't, but possible they did. Lilo and Stitch is a beloved icon all over the world. So this film could very easily be a $1 billion film. Easily be a $1 billion film. And good for it, because I really enjoyed it. I really did. If I were to say between the 2 films I saw this week, Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible, what is the better film? It's probably Mission Impossible. It is the better made film. There's less contrivances. There's less things that were changed. Because there's some changes in Lilo and Stitch I didn't dig on. Others I did like. But Mission Impossible does feel a bit more coherent, I suppose is the best way to put it. It is, unfortunately, though, as I said in my review, way too long. It is a long-ass movie, and it feels it. But speaking of which, 63 million and 204 million worldwide to start with. Not bad, though the international number, and they're saying about 77 million for the domestic. So, worldwide, let's just say after tomorrow, it's 204. Not a bad start. Honestly, not a bad start. They're apparently predicting about 14 million. Yeah, okay. But unlike Lilo and Stitch, which is made on a very conservative budget for a film like that, 100 million roughly, this is one of the priciest films ever put on screen. About 300 to 400 million, I believe, was the budget, not including marketing. Average that out, let's just say 350. And they did market this a lot. Now, they didn't market like 200 million, I don't think, but they did probably do like at least 100 million minimum, probably 150. Why don't we actually look up real quick? Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, marketing budget. Do we have a marketing budget? Let's find out. Marketing budget. Do we have that? Okay, budget 400 plus 500. Okay, so I mean, most are saying it's 400, at least yeah, but it does say an additional 100 million for marketing. So you know what, that does sound about right for the conservative estimate. You know, I'll add Lilo and Stitch onto this question as well. What that marketing budget was real quick. So Lilo and Stitch 20. Well, let's try that. 2025 marketing budget. Okay, do we have a marketing budget on that? 100 million, the additional production budget. Marketing, okay, nope, I was about right with $100 million. Yeah, so Mission Impossible is made basically on between $450 and $500 million. Oh man, look, I'm all for if you've proven that your franchise can bring in the money to make that not just a worthwhile investment, but literally make a huge profit, i.e. an Avatar, an Avengers, even like a Transformers for a certain while, and originally Fast and Furious for a while. if you're a franchise that can prove you can bring the money back in, then it's fine. Spend that money, make the best film you can. But if you're a film franchise that has not ever proven you can actually do that, like the Mission Impossible, they've made good money. Mission Impossible has made good money, hundreds of millions per film. But $750 at the high end to break even, to roughly 700 low, like 675 roughly, but 700 more or less to just break even, make a little bit of profit on the low end. I'm sorry, that's irresponsible filmmaking right there. When your franchise, at its best, has barely shown it could make that much money back. Now, mind you, again, this did have the highest opening weekend of any film in the franchise. Okay, there's something there. Okay, there is at least something there. A really good international start. The question is simply going to be, can it hold on? Can its weekend box office drop be good enough and continue on to the point where it can actually make that money back? And I just don't know it can, because this is a 2-hour and 49-minute long movie that needs to be at least 20 minutes shorter. And honestly, yeah, you shaved out that 20 minutes, A, more screen times. B, I think you would have gotten your flow a little bit better. I don't know, man. This one probably is going to take over a 50% drop this coming weekend, unfortunately. Just because it is long. It is good, though. Like, it is a good movie. That's the thing. I say it's long, and that is a problem with the movie, but that's not to detract the fact that it is a well-made, well-shot, well-acted, and damn some great action in it movie. But I'm just wondering if that runtime is going to really hurt it. I really do. Because, again, the franchise is, at its highest mark, the franchise can do that money. But that's like the high end of the franchise. So I just don't know if 700 to 750 is doable. We'll have to wait and see, because just like Lilo and Stitch, this film doesn't really have any direct competition for its type of weird action adventure, save the world type movie. Up until you get into, I mean, really, not even How to Train Your Dragon is directly competing for this. Ballerina doesn't directly compete with this. I mean, it is an action film though, so that is it should be fair to point out that would probably, I got the wrong one up. That would probably hurt it still on some level, especially it's like the new action film on the block. Let's see here now. What would be the film that say hurts its momentum? Because it's not going to be number 1 or number 2 like in coming weeks soon. But Karate Kids doesn't hurt its momentum. Ballerina definitely puts a dent, but I don't think it fully hurts it. And believe it or not, I don't even think How to Train Your Dragon fully hurts it. If you're looking for something that's say like a more adult, mature action film. 28 years later, I don't know about 28 years later. Maybe. F1 kind of has a better, honestly, it will probably be okay in terms of whatever its money momentum is until July when we get Jurassic World and Superman and Fantastic Four. Yeah, when that happens, yeah, that would be like the real nail in the coffin on whatever momentum it has. But for what it's worth, I'm not actually positive the other films coming out in June are going to hurt it to a degree where it's losing its momentum. They're definitely going to take chunks out of it, but nothing substantial, I don't think. Now, that being said, when we get there, our predictions for Karate Kid and Bring Her Back this week, I'll give you my thoughts on where it might actually land. Final Destination Bloodlines still is doing great. It's guaranteed to make over $200 million, which makes it the highest grossing in the franchise against a $50 million budget, and maybe only in 50 probably in marketing. You're looking at a very successful film already, because it had to hit 150 to break even. It did that. It's clear. It's good. It's golden. It's Gucci, as they say. So now it's just how much money can this film tack on? And you see, this is more unique. Like, Bring Her Back is not going to hurt this film too much, because this isn't the same type of horror as Bring Her Back is, which is taking itself really seriously. This is campy. This is goofy, Goldbergian death traps. So I don't think this will be affected very much by anything coming out. Now, granted, might not be in the number 1 for much longer, maybe another week or two, but it's not going to be hurt like momentum-wise by much coming out. And look, success where success is, man. Warner Brothers is having actually a really damn good year right now with Sinners, which is currently also increased its worldwide total. Final Destination, I think what else did they have? Minecraft. Yeah, they're having a damn good year right now, Warner Brothers. And look, Disney hasn't had the best year, but with Lilo and Stitch, they now got a win on their hands. So they're starting to come back. Speaking of Disney, Thunderbolts made our 9.1 million. Currently stands worldwide, and they are factoring in Memorial Day for this right now, worldwide, at about 355 million, which does suck. Like, I would have hoped that it could have maybe hit 400 million, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that, which really does suck. Unless it's got some international market it needs to still show up in, it's not getting there. It still needs to do like 45 million more, and it doesn't have that left in the tank. It maybe has like 20 million domestically left in the tank, but I don't see 45. And it sucks, because it is one of the best movies to come out since, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's one of the best movies to come out since Endgame. It's right there in that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 category, Deadpool, Wolverine, Shang-Chi, in terms of like the quality of the movie itself. And then you get like the next step down, which are good movies but not great, and then the lesser movies that came out. It sucks. Truth be told, Captain America Brave New World, I think, really hurt the momentum of this film. It did. Because if Captain America Brave New World had been anywhere near as good as we had been hoping it could have been, if it could have been even, like, if it could have just been twice as good, that positive momentum, then going into Daredevil, easily this film clears 400 million, maybe even 500 million, no problem. But the problem is Captain America Brave New World wasn't very good. And this is directly leading up from Brave New World. So it's unfortunate. It is. But look, I get the impression Marvel isn't too concerned. Yes, before anyone comments, I'll comment briefly because I don't do videos on like movie news, at least not anymore. But I will comment on the pushing the dates up for Doomsday and Secret Wars real quick, because for anyone who isn't in the sphere doesn't know this, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars did push their release dates from May of each month of that year to I believe it's May or December respectively, I believe of Doomsday I think is 26 still. Doomsday. You're doomed. Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday. Okay, so the news pops up. It got pushed. Its release date is now, December of next year, not May of next year. And then Secret Wars is December of the following year right now. So I actually have two minds on this. And the main part of my mind is, I actually think it's a good thing. Not to say that the Russo brothers couldn't have gotten it done, but they're shooting these films back to back. And these are two huge films, like huge films. So the idea of pushing it back a little bit, giving yourself more time, I do kind of believe, because they haven't announced every name yet, that they are probably looking to work around some actors' schedules to make sure they're in the films, especially the actors we haven't announced yet. They want to take their time, similar to what they did with Deadpool Wolverine. Pushing and what look we got of that. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Not everyone did like it, but most people liked it. Let's be honest, the majority of people did. So taking your time for that. But the fact is, they also pushed off a bunch of other unannounced Marvel movie dates, including what probably was going to be Blade's release date. I have a feeling Blade's just not coming, or it's coming with a different casting. But to the point, is this a good thing? I think it was overall a good thing. But the one thing that I think maybe isn't good, and just because of the state of Marvel at the moment, is the optics. Because there's a large group of people who don't have a lot of faith in Marvel right now, and when they hear something gets pushed back, that's usually not, in a lot of people's heads, a good thing. Now, if you stop and think for a little bit, you can realize it can be a good thing, but not everyone does that. So I think the optics, you were going to lose somewhat on the optics no matter what. But in terms of, am I okay with this? I am. And unless they've been working on something in secret, the only film coming out next year besides Doomsday is Spider-Man. That's technically a Sony production, so we'll have to wait and see. But otherwise, I think because they knew that Marvel's kind of hurting right now, they're not going to be overly surprised by Thunderbolts, which has, by the way, great reception from both critics and audiences. I think it's not even the B squad. It's the C squad with a B-list leader in Bucky, more or less. You're coming off an already not great Marvel project in Brave New World, and you're already, and that is coming off of the rough patch Marvel's already been having. So do I wish this could have done better? Absolutely. Am I completely surprised it didn't do better? No, I'm not completely surprised, sadly. But that's not to say it still can't make a little bit of money. Maybe there's still another foreign market needs to show up in. It was made on the same amount as Brave New World, around 180. Had to do about 240 to break even. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It would have to do another 65 roughly to break even, and it just doesn't have that in there. But, look, I think, though, what Thunderbolts will do is help Fantastic Four out in the long run. Because it is a good movie. The people who saw it and liked it spoke very highly of it. If I actually get some free time on me, which I will have coming up pretty soon, I might go and just do a matinee show of it just for the sake of sake. Like, I might just see it before it's out of theaters, because I really do like this movie quite a bit. So, yes. Sinners, though, a film that is not made on 180, is currently at 339, is just burning up the box office. For a film of its stature, it's burning up the box office. $90 million film, $50 million marketing, roughly. At least I believe that's what it's estimated at. This film, first off, made its money back long ago. But second of all, it really, just it kind of took the world by storm for a few weeks. And even then, after it's no longer number one, it's still managing to be in the top 5 week after week after week. Now, with that said, do I think it's going to be in the top 5 next week? Probably not. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. With the amount these two made, plus what we're going to get 2 bigger releases coming out with Bring Her Back and Karate Kid, I think Sinners has met its last weekend in the top 5. But you cannot deny the run Sinners had. You cannot deny it. And it deserved it. It's still the best film of the year, in my opinion. The Last Rodeo, a film I'm not familiar with, from, what's the studio here? It doesn't have a distributor. Okay, to save his grandson, a retired rodeo star enters a high-stake bullfighting competition. Along the way, he confronts his past, discovers faith, and proves that courage lies in family. Oh, okay. Finds his faith, huh? I have to know. The Last Rodeo. Rodeo. I have to know. I gotta know. Who was it? Oh, it's this guy who has shown up in some Angel Studio Pureflix movies as of late. So I guess he might be on the religious side just a little bit, which, whatever, it's fine. I don't really judge. I do like the actor. I don't judge the actor for someone for their faith. I just judge them for their actions. And if they're, okay, so distributor, come on. Angel Studios. There it is. So, yep, that a feeling. The man's faith was involved with Angel Studios. And again, it's fine. I'll take Angel Studios over Pureflix any day of the week. So I've said my piece on why I don't like Pureflix and why I'm just not overly fond of Angel Studios that much either. Not that I think their movies are bad, just because I don't need faith crammed down my throat in my life. Friendship got a huge increase in theaters, and apparently this is a pretty funny movie from what I understand. So good for it. Almost 10 million on just one is probably a really low budget, and it's A24, so good for them. Minecraft movie 2.2 million, 940 when you factor in the Memorial Day weekend. It's not making $1 billion. Might hit 950, but it's not making $1 billion. The Accountant 2 was managed to make a little bit more money, 98.4 million. Congrats. It still did not make its money back, but what are you gonna do? Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. You got Snow White still around, amazingly, but it made 205, which means it essentially made its production budget on the low end predictions back. Then you got The Amateur, which didn't even cross 100 million either. Shadow Horseman came and went like a fart in the wind. Man. But either way, that is the box office for May 2025, or May 25th, 2025. Yeah, look, it's a damn good weekend to be in the movies. That's 200 million between the top two alone. 208 million if we're going to get specific. Then if you add on the third, that's 209, 228, 237, 245-ish, roughly, maybe 46. Basically 250 roughly, almost 260 for the entire box office this weekend. That's a good weekend at the box office, folks. So what do I think the next week's box office is going to be? Well, I can already tell you right now, Lilo and Stitch is going to be number one. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Even if it drops 55-some%, Karate Kid Legends is not Karate Kid Legends. Tracking. Okay, what's it tracking for, roughly? Let's see if we can find that. Karate Kid Legends tracking numbers. Not numbers. Okay. So, at least according to the AI overview. Low end, 45 million with domestic low total and forecast of 43. Okay, so it's tracking for about a 45-ish, 43, somewhere in like the low 40s million dollar opening weekend. It's actually really damn good. Lilo and Stitch, though, is going to clear that. Easy. Even if you drop it 60%, you're still making like 60-some-odd million, and I do not see that happening. It's dropping probably 50 or less. But yeah, so there's that. But I do think Karate Kid makes more than Mission Impossible next week. Even if Mission Impossible takes a 50% drop, which would be fantastic, by the way, it would still only be low 30s. Even if it dropped 40%, it would still at best be high 30s, like 39, like 40. So it would have to come in it'd have to have an unprecedented low drop, and Karate Kid would have to underperform for it to be number 2 next week. So it's Karate Kid at number 1 or number 2. Mission Impossible will very much be number 3. Final Destination, see, here's where the Bringer Back thing becomes a little hard to figure out, because while I do think it'll be in the top 5, I don't see it, like, those films never open very strong. So I still think Final Destination Bloodlines will be number 4. And then I'll put Bringer Back at number 5. Because even though both Sinners and Thunderbolts is going to take a really solid drop, the word of mouth coming out about Bringer Back has been enough that I think it could at least do like a $10 million opening week, or at least high single digits. So we'll have to wait and see. But that'll be my prediction for next week. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.